need that camera mount thing you
Okay,
gave
yeah.
me. I think I left it at home in a drawer somewhere. Not sure. But good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This morning we're in Penglipuran in northeast-ish Bali, and we're here to photograph Galungan, one of the most important ceremonies on the Balinese Hindu calendar, which I believe marks the victory of Adharma over Dharma. Anyway, I'm not going to do a whole history lesson. We're here to take photos. And this actually kind of marks the beginning of a little series I was thinking about filming, where I'm just going to go and shoot some of the most important ceremonies on that Balinese Hindu calendar that I mentioned just a minute ago. Because over the next 2 weeks we've got Galungan today, and then we have Melasti, we have Kuningan, we have Nyepi. There's so many interesting ceremonies over the next couple of weeks, and I thought, well, I might as well make a series about them because, you know, this is kind of the stuff that I enjoy shooting the most on the island. So I'm going to take you along with me, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy this one. But Harry and I drove up here this morning. It took us about maybe an hour and 40 with the coffee stops, and Harry needed to go for a poo in the bushes on the way here because we couldn't find a toilet. So yeah, we're a bit later than we'd hoped, but we have arrived early enough to have this place relatively quiet. So we should get to shooting and avoiding any other photographers that want to talk to us and distract us from getting the photos we want. We are not here to make friends, we are here to make pictographs. So I probably should have spoken just a little bit more about what I'm hoping to photograph today. Now, Galungan is a pretty calm ceremony as far as Balinese ceremonies go, and most of what's going to be happening this morning is people leaving offerings outside their houses, then going to the nearby temple to make offerings and to pray and things of that nature. I'm hoping we're going to get a little bit of sunlight, because when people are out and leaving offerings, that usually involves incense, and if we've got smoke and light, that makes for some pretty interesting scenes. But I'm starting things off with what's probably the easiest shot of the day, especially as there aren't too many tourists right now. But I've just got this path running through Penglipuran. It's probably one of the more popular photos that you could take here. But I'm just being patient. I'm waiting at the top of the path and hoping that someone, ideally carrying an offering on top of their head because it makes for quite an interesting silhouette, is going to walk down the center of this path. And then on either side of the path we've got the bamboo pendule. Nice blue sky with some cool clouds behind. Yeah, pretty easy shot, but I think it makes for a nice hero shot, which is something I usually try to capture whenever I'm going to any location, I suppose. Okay, we're going to pause that right there. Now, what exactly is a hero shot? Well, it's often considered to be the photo that captures the essence and soul of a scene that you're trying to photograph. Now, for me, in Penglipuran Village, that would have involved one single solitary subject walking up the path towards me, maybe holding an offering, and we're going to have the bamboo pendules hanging over the street, and hopefully a nice colourful sky in the background. Now, it's not all about the hero shots, you know, there are also many other side quests that we need to go on to capture the nuances in every nook and cranny of Penglipuran Village on Galungan. Details. Maybe I can put this into one of those slides on Instagram, one of those popular trendy 3-bar photographs of uninteresting details with a crazy colour grade on them. That came from the heart. That sounded personal, didn't it? I probably attacked a lot of people by saying that. I know I was kind of taking the piss out of shooting details and making Instagram carousels out of them, but I think it is an important part of the shooting process in general. I guess it doesn't really matter what you're shooting, but shooting details to try and, I guess, build a story of the place that you're visiting, the ceremony that you're capturing. I think capturing like small things like this, you know, the incense sticks, the flowers, the offerings that are left out in the morning. There's a reason these things are left out. They're an important part of the Galungan festivities, and so yeah, I think even though it seems insignificant, okay, this is not breaking any barriers. It's not a particularly, it's not a banger. I can't think right now. It's not a banger, but it does, you know, when paired with the rest of the photos that hopefully I'm going to get this morning, it does add up to complete the entire story. I think that makes sense. I think so. Right, so I've already got this live perspective with one solitary subject walking down the path, but I'm thinking that, I don't know, maybe it could be a little bit more interesting, maybe there could be some more layers to this shot. So what I'm hoping for is that I'll have some different groups of people walking towards me. So some a little bit closer to the lens, they'll be slightly out of focus, and then some behind them who will be in focus, so I can use that person who's close to my camera as kind of like a foreground element that helps to break up the frame in some kind of way. Alright, so there were a few other images that I captured on that little walk around the jungle, but I must say the lighting was rather disappointing throughout most of the morning. We had pretty decent conditions when we first arrived, and luckily I managed to get that hero shot that I was talking about earlier. But you know, we made the most of what we had, and here's a couple that I shot. So we got this first shot here that we took in one of the temples just around the corner from the main street. And what I quite like about this shot is that we have three subjects quite evenly broken up in the frame. We've got the lady on the right hand side who's kind of leaving the temple with her arms kind of swinging around the basket. We've got a man in the bottom left who's praying, and quite nicely contrasted in that area with the white clothing that he's got on. And then a gentleman in the back who is placing an offering on the altar. I think this works quite well. If I'm being honest, it would have looked a little stronger had the guy in the back had a white shirt on, and perhaps if the lady on the right hand side was making eye contact with me, but hey, we cannot get everything that we want. Then we got the second shot, just another altar right outside that temple I was just talking about, and you know, I mean, I quite liked the way the four people are divided. And then of course we got the eye contact from the kid on the right hand side. Nothing particularly special, but quite nice. Another one from a temple just around the corner from those temples. And here I've just tried to separate every subject in the frame. So we've got the guys on the left. Again, if one of them was making eye contact with me, it would have been probably a bit nicer. And then you can see we've got our subjects and the umbrellas evenly kind of spaced out around them. I really quite like the orangey yellow, white and green kind of color theme that we have to these shots. It does work quite well, but I think the lighting was just a little bit poor here. I have photographed here on other occasions when I've had light rays streaming through those trees, and trust me, it is so much nicer. Then we got this fourth shot, and probably one of my favorites from the day. Again, the lighting is nothing too interesting, but just the smoke coming off the incense sticks in the basket that the lady's holding, I think really helped this photo to stand out from some of the others. It adds a nice little bit of contrast to that part of the scene, as does some of the soft light hitting the sides of the clothing that she's wearing. And again, a pretty simple color theme to this is mostly just blackish grey green, and then the colors of the subject. So yeah, pretty happy with that one. Not too bad a shoot. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, Well, I'm glad. And please consider subscribing to the channel. We've got some similar stuff coming up over the next 2 weeks or so. We're going to be photographing Melasti, Kuningan, Mekotek, and even the day before Nyepi, where they parade the Oga-Ogas around the street. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I would hate for you to miss out on that. And I think with that said, have a great day, and I will see you in next week's video.